COVID-19 vaccination rates are slowing down as cases are surging.
Some berries like these, which you can eat, are a little bitter, or you can make them into wine, bread, or jam like this aronia jelly. That's really good. It's also a seller's market has made it all too easy for these homes to find new owners. Ex-employees are now speaking out.
And it was actually their mandate that said that the workers could not come back.
The community of Cuba needs medicine, good medical attention. We want freedom for our family. Many business owners benefited from carry-out drinks being allowed during the pandemic. And what a way to swing into a new season. Food isn't the only thing that you can be recycling better. Garth Ferris of Norfolk's Alter Metal says you can also be making a profit off of your old metal. How turbulent the dairy industry has been this year. Tell me more. It's not just the new mall that's developing in town. The South Sioux City Chamber of Commerce tells us that businesses in town are not just popping up, but growing exponentially since the pandemic began. Let's learn more. As you just saw, the Nebraska Department of Transportation, together with Governor Pete Ricketts and West Point Mayor Bruce Schlett, just concluded their groundbreaking ceremony for 3 segments of U.S. Highway 275. The project will be done by Cost Construction out of Kansas and will expand the expressway from a 2-lane to a 4-lane highway. You can find a full report on the highway later today, but for now, we'll toss it back to you, Eric. Thank you. The heart of Norfolk, even 30 years after he's died. The Johnny Carson exhibit is finally reopening, expecting to draw in hundreds of visitors each month to this small town. Driving across the Loop River Bridge, you can see plenty of rust. But once you get out and go underneath, you can see holes in the actual infrastructure. National Weather Service is saying that might equal up to about a foot.
We could still see some severe weather in our area.
Governor Pete Ricketts is telling Nebraskans it's time to get back to normal. He's ended the state of emergency over the pandemic, effectively ending Test Nebraska tests and risk assessments. But health officials in Nebraska tell us that doesn't mean they're packing their bags just yet. Snakes will be moved to a habitat visible to the public. I hope that means behind glass and not in my backyard.
It breaks my heart.
9 children living at a boarding school in Pennsylvania died in the early 1900s, never to be seen again by their families back in the Midwest. Now, their remains are finally being returned to their homelands.
We're bringing home children that were sent away and never given the opportunity to come back.
Friday, the decades overdue funeral procession to North Dakota stopped in Niobrara to meet with Santee Sioux and mourn with relatives. The nation's Vice President, Sidney Tuttle, says the history has left the community with emotional trauma.
We call them Wakanja, sacred beings.
Especially so for direct descendants like Steve Moose.
It's heartbreaking, but yet I'm happy about it. So they're finally going to be home.
His brother Joseph says the return is significant to Native Americans as a whole.
These boarding schools are these schools that came and took our children away to have them forget about their culture, about their language, about their people, and cut their hair and all that. You know, this is all coming out now. The truth is coming out.
Many shared his desire for justice. The process of identifying these children's bodies, who are as young as 4, has taken about 5 years.
Feeling kind of frustrated.
Shania Reddow says, as a teacher, she wishes she could do even more for them.
I wish I could decorate this whole highway to orange because it's wet. We deserve it.
Families here in Niobrara say the best way to strengthen the movement to find and return the remains of children lost so long ago is to keep talking about it. Spread these stories with your community and raise awareness. Reporting in Niobrara, I'm Carolyn Conte for News Channel Nebraska. The people of Columbus are now safe, officials say, after a concerning health alert on Thursday. The Columbus mayor now trying to get to the bottom of a miscommunication after the Columbus Fire Department responded to a smoldering coal fire at the ADM plant on July 14th.
Basically, it was a fire that just wouldn't put itself out.
Fire Chief Dan Miller worked with ADM to contain the fire for nearly 3 weeks. In the meantime, 4 people reported symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning. 2 tested positive. Tuesday, Mayor Jim Bulkley was notified.
We're doing our homework to find out why was there a lag in notification It does appear that there was some accountability that dropped the ball. I'm disappointed that there was the lag time that we saw. Again, I say that, but I remind everybody hindsight's worth a lot, okay? And I think we all want to remember what we're seeing outside today is related to the fires that we're seeing. It has nothing to do with what's going on at ADM.
Once Bulkley inspected the site, he contacted the East Central Health Department and Platte Area Emergency Management, both of which tell NCN they should have been told sooner. The health department sent out a public alert on Thursday, though nearby residents say they weren't worried.
I'm not concerned at all, but I think they're taking off a lot in the air to really affect anybody.
I'm not really concerned about what's going on over there at ADM right now. I used to work there, and so I kind of know that they have things under control.
Still, some are pretty grateful to have carbon monoxide testers.
No, I did not know anything about that in this area. We're really good at making sure that our carbon monoxide alarm is working. We change our batteries every 6 months.
The health department says residents should check their detectors to make sure they're working. In the meantime, officials with the city of Columbus say they'll make sure more people are in charge of making these types of decisions in the future. In a statement, ADM says they're continuing to monitor the air and are not finding carbon monoxide right now.
We, the jury, do find said defendant guilty of intentional child abuse resulting in death.
A rare decision reached Thursday. Dale Madison charged with child abuse resulting in death. The 12-person jury finds him guilty. Nationally, there are very few cases where someone else has been held legally responsible for another's suicide. This is why the defense attorney argues that such a case cannot be proven. Both sides presenting final arguments ahead of the verdict.
And there wasn't a time in the evidence when he gave a damn what happened to her afterwards.
The coroner testified that the cause of death is suicide caused by an overdose.
She made a decision, but her decision was influenced by mental illness. These witnesses, those experts, told you what illness she had and what the stressor was. There was no evidence of anything else.
While child abuse most typically applies to physical abuse instead of mental, County Attorney Joe Smith says the law should be applied like this more often.
If this is a different kind of prosecution, it should be used more often.
He spoke after the trial about his feelings on the case.
Everybody involved in this case, probably even include the jurors who had to listen to that. Everybody should kind of sit back and relax and be thankful for what they have. That's what I'll do.
Smith calls it one of the most disturbing cases in his career, and he is not the only one left emotionally exhausted following the 4-day ordeal. Members of victim Zoe's family seen crying after the verdict was read. Madison is facing a maximum sentence of life in prison. His sentencing is set for May 21st.